Hey there, I'm so glad you're back to join me with another video. Welcome to Vital Refinement, and I'm Earrie. And today we're going to be discussing different ways that we can be intentional about our choices, the way we live life, the things we do, the things we say, the things we think, okay? So let's jump right into the video. So, living an intentional lifestyle is really just being mindful of everything that you do. Sometimes it can feel a little bit overwhelming, but honestly, it will save you so much energy later on. It will save you so much drama and conflict, and really help you not lose yourself in all of this, because there's so many different messages that we're reading and hearing and seeing every day, and sometimes it distorts what we really think of ourselves, what we really think about certain circumstances and situations. And so being intentional really means living out the values that you believe in, your personal values, not your family's values, not your religious values, not your societal values, but what values really mean to you personally deep down inside. Of course, all these other values do matter and they should play a part in your lifestyle. But when you live intentionally in the value system of your own personal values that you deeply care about, that's when you're most happiest, that's when you have the best energy, and that's when you can really be full and whole enough to get back to our world that we care so much about and our community that we care so much about. So living an intentional lifestyle means that you work from the inside out. So you go to your core values, your personal core values, and you play off of those values. So if family is truly a personal value to you, you're going to be intentional about how you treat your family. You're going to be intentional about how you speak to your family. You're going to be intentional with what you put into your family system. For myself, I am very, 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 very relationship oriented. So it's important to me to have healthy relationships, and when I don't, when I feel like something's off balance within one of my personal relationships, I tend to be unhappy. I tend to put a lot of pressure on myself because I feel guilty about like not checking in enough or maybe not reaching out enough. But I also have to realize that being in a relationship with someone means that it goes back and forth, that each person involved in a relationship needs to put in effort. So whether that's with my sister, my cousins, my best friends, my husband, my mom, these are all relationships that go hand in hand, okay? But for me, I just love relationships. So even when someone isn't reciprocating, my actions or my love language or anything like that, I tend to still go overboard because I just love loving on people. And so that's what I'm intentional about. That's one of the top things in my life that I'm intentional about, is just having relationships. And the best way to have a healthy relationship is having a relationship with God first, because he ultimately teaches us the value of love and how to give love, and not ever expect it to be reciprocated. And that's the true way to love someone. So as long as you have a good relationship with God, you can have a good relationship with all those other personal relationships in your life. So that's one way that I like to be intentional, and that's one of the most important ways I like to be intentional. Other ways you can be intentional, just being mindful of your thoughts. This is a great way to be intentional about your mental health. So being mindful about your thoughts is really, like I mentioned before in the previous video, stomping out those automatic negative thoughts before they come into like a ball of like negativity, a ball of lies, and you're living out this narrative that isn't true. And that really affects your mental health, because sometimes that can make you go into a really dark place that shouldn't even exist in the first place, because it's really not even real. So being intentional about your thoughts is really great for your mindset, your mental health, and it will prevent you from go into these deep holes or having these negative outlets on things, or thinking the world is against you when it's really not. It helps you also to realize that the world doesn't evolve around you. Like, yes, your world evolves around you, but just because someone looked a certain way or said a certain thing doesn't mean that they're directly targeting you. And some people tend to have this feeling that people are targeting them, or they taking it very seriously, or very personally, because they've already built up this narrative in their head that the world is against them. So being intentional about your thoughts is good for your mental health. Hi, since you're enjoying this video so far, I just want to remind you to like it, share it with your friends, and always comment down below with any things that you want to additionally add to the topic, any conversations you want to have dialogue about, and to also give suggestions about what our next video should be about. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you feel enlightened, empowered, and embraced by the content so far. Enjoy the rest of this video. Another way to be intentional is just be mindful of what you're putting into your body. And this means anything, because honestly, our body is our temple, is our vessel for all the things that we hold dear and all the things that we probably shouldn't be holding to at all. So being intentional about what you eat, being intentional about what you watch, what you listen to, what you read, this all affects your overall health and especially your physical health. So being intentional means, like, of course you don't have to always count your calories or, you know, really be super over tactic about what you're eating, but you should be aware of what you're eating and how that's affecting your body, because honestly, food affects everything. It affects our mental state, affects our emotional state, and of course it affects our physical state. So being intentional about what you're putting in your body and knowing what the nutrients are and how they affect your body and what those other things are in like processed foods and things of that nature, how it affects our moods and everything. I advise you guys to really look into different food items and different food that's not really food, like things we shouldn't be eating, that's a processed food, and see how it really affects our moods and our emotions, and that will change your life. Like, you could just do the minimum by eliminating processed food, making it maybe 20% of your diet instead of 80% like most Americans. So that's another way to be intentional about your physical health. And other ways you could be intentional is about your spirituality. A lot of us really value our spirituality, so it'll be, you know, sad for us to not be intentional about how we grow in that area in our life and how we fulfill our spirits in that way. So being intentional about our spirituality is, you know, making sure you set time aside throughout your day to be close with God and to have a one-on-one conversation with Him. You know, ask Him, are you living the way that He wants you to live? Are you living within His will? Are you abiding by His word, abiding by His Holy Spirit? You know, just ask Him for advice about like what steps to take, how to be guided, and, you know, ask Him like, what do you want me to do today? Do you want me to pray for someone today? Do you want me to go serve someone in some way? Do you want me to reach out to someone? Like, these are things that we should be asking God every day, what He would like us to do, but also just give Him that time so He can give us ideas and inspiration and grace and comfort, and so we can feel secure and be bold and brave and courageous to live out this life that is super hard to do. But honestly, God knows it's hard, and that's why He's given us the Bible for guidance. He's given us the Holy Spirit as a friend to lead us, and we have such a great community in your spirituality group that we have people to lean on when we feel like we're alone and no one understands us. So that's another way to be intentional, is being intentional about your spiritual health, your spiritual well-being, and just giving God the glory whenever you can, so you can always feel fulfilled and whole, so that you can give back. Like I said, with everything else, all these things are fulfilling you so you can pour it to someone else. And ultimately, that's one of my values, is just being able to pour to others. So that makes me my most happiest and healthiest. These are the different ways that you can be intentional about your health and just your overall lifestyle. I hope that you guys find this stuff, you know, helpful, and I hope that you guys can comment down below for any suggestions or advice or additional resources about living an intentional life. I'm so glad you lasted throughout this video. I've been trying to make them a little bit shorter just so you guys can be more intent with watching it. I'm excited to be moving on with this series, Vital Refinement. But yeah, comment down below with any suggestions. I thank you so much for supporting me so far. I'm going to continue to try to find different ways that you can refine your life and live healthier lives, and I'll be sure to share it with you, okay? Stay tuned for the next video. If this is your first time tuning in, make sure you like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, and check out the rest of this playlist, okay? Take care and enjoy the rest of your day.